In today's episode, POS support issues, working between the lights, calling in for support versus emailing in, mystery high-pitched tone. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. POS support issues. Over the past 50 years, I have spent the last 30 doing tech support / testing / planning for various point of sale systems. Yes, POS covers it nicely. Anyway, about 15 years ago, the primary vendor changed from one large IT company to another. Since I was the one in control of the baseline, software and hardware, everything that was a proposed change came through me before going to the field. Went on leave 1 week, away from the office, but still available online and working. When I got back, thought that everything was going well, no problems reported while I was out, which should have been a good thing. Had a meeting with the prime contractor the next week, and one of the bullet points in their presentation was they had installed software at all of the POS locations while I was out. I didn't authorize it and no one, supposedly, knew anything about it. The software had to do with how to handle credit card transactions when the store would lose their internet connection. They would store the transaction with an encrypted card number and encrypted security code. Then process the transaction when the connection came back up. Interesting, that concept had been around for a while and was not supposed to be implemented without a lot of testing. As you may imagine, a lot of impacts depending on how long the network outage lasted. Anyway, started testing this in the lab and found that it didn't work. When the card number was decrypted to be processed, it was all zeros, 0, in the middle 8 numbers of the card. Same for the security code, all zeros. So the transaction would fail. This had been installed at all of the remote sites, then a major internet outage occurred, lasted about 2 days. All of the credit card transactions were processed in this mode. The retailer lost millions in transactions. For this retailer, the average transaction was better than $600. Now the fun begins. The contractor has no fallback position and no way to recover the data. It fell to me to figure out a method of recovering the transactions. Yes, there is a way to recover them. It took about 5 days of working with the data to get to that point. No, I will not disclose how it was done, so don't ask. It took over 2 months to get approval from senior management to recover a sample set of these transactions. By this time, many of the patrons had already spent the excess funds elsewhere. So, they screamed. Upper management reacted and shut down the entire recovery process, even though from a technical standpoint it worked. In the meantime, the contractor fixed their code. It was tested and found to work correctly. Then implemented in the field. No one could believe that I had methodology to reconstruct the card numbers and security codes. The contractor was praised for their good work at making the fix, but not chastised for bypassing the testing on the initial install. The senior management person that authorized the initial install was praised. I was left out in the cold. Working between the lights. Worked at a travel admin office around 2011/2012, where you could partner your private travel agency with our company, and we would help with the back-end bookings and stuff. Part of my job was to help ITCs, independent travel consultants, set up their new machines to work with our systems. One of these ITCs was really nice and asked a lot of questions about which machine to buy that would work well with our systems. Eventually she bought a Dell machine which ran beautifully for months, no issues at all. One day she came into my office and asked me to check why her machine won't start. Plug it in, press the button, no bootable disk found. Check the BIOS and it picks up the drive as there, but won't boot. Explain to her that her OS may be shot, and I will need to try and do a recovery on it. Not happy as a lot of client data is on there, but at least we have yesterday's backup to pull from. No matter what I try, I cannot get this thing to work. Recovery errors, failure to install, won't work in other machines. Drive is now a paperweight. Phone Dell support to get it replaced under warranty, and they arrive next day with a new drive Windows 7 ready to go. Take the old drive back for testing. Reconfigure the machine, reload the backup data, and the user is ready to go. About a month later, same story, drive just will not work, phone Dell, and they log a tech to come deliver a drive next day. User is not happy as we advised her to get this machine. I'm not happy because this has never happened before, and I now look like an idiot. Machine fixed, again, and the user goes back to work. About a week later, I'm talking to her about something unrelated, and she tells me she's going to dinner with a client, so she is rushed, but she can maybe squeeze some work in between now and dinner. I ask wouldn't she be late if she heads home first because of traffic, and she casually tells me no, I'm heading straight there. I'll just work between at the red lights, it's what I normally do anyways. So basically she would have the machine open on the front seat next to her running the entire time while driving home, and then when the light is red she would do some work. The poor drive was spinning the entire time and obviously getting bounced around the whole time. I told her about that and explained how a drive works, and she was completely embarrassed about the whole thing, but was a lot happier now that she wasn't under threat of losing her work again. Calling in for support versus emailing in. So the place that I work for, we try to train people to submit a ticket through email. But people still insist on calling in, and we take the call, make a ticket, and say that someone will get with them to take care of the issue. This relieves the 20 to 40 plus minute interruption of people calling to get faster service. Got a call Monday, about 5 minutes before a scheduled appointment, took the call, opened a ticket for the user, and said that someone would be with them shortly to take care of it. She lost her cookies. Screaming at me that the reason she calls is because she gets faster service. I responded with, well, I'm sorry, we create tickets for people who call in, so that you don't jump ahead of the people who have already submitted a ticket via website, email, etc. She just can't wrap her mind around this, I guess. She tells me that her problem is easy, and that she just needs someone to do it now. I think to myself, well, if it's that easy, how come you are not doing it yourself? I assure her that someone will reach out to her regarding the ticket in a bit. I take my next appointment, finished it in about 5 minutes, rather than the 30 minutes I had planned. I decide to go and look at this ticket that the lady called in screaming at me for. Found the ticket, no one was assigned to it yet, assigned it to myself, and took a look at the PC from our RMM. I found the issue to be that her HDD was full, as to why the PC was so slow. Ran a script through the RMM to clean up %temp, and run disk cleanup. Cleaned up about 25 GBs, told her she was all set in the ticket, and told her what I did. She replied back with K. UGH I wanted to undo what I did, and let her suffer longer, but am too nice and want people to have a good experience with us. This is why I try to never do stuff over the phone when people call in, they expect too much, drop everything you're doing, and help me. Sorry, there is a process that you are not adhering to. One of the other techs would drop what he was doing to help me. Sorry, he's not supposed to. Come on Friday 5 p.m. I'm ready. Mystery high-pitched tone. I work for a school district, so we have an all-call system that is constantly on the fritz. We got called to a classroom because of an annoying high-pitched tone. When I rounded the corner and could immediately hear it. It was very loud and ear-piercing. I walk into the room and it sounds like it's coming from the ceiling, but honestly it's so high-pitched it's hard to tell. Confirmed it is definitely not the fire alarm. My coworker goes to grab a ladder so we can get in the ceiling and check the speakers. As he leaves to go get the ladder, the teacher says, "All right class, let's get out of here while they work, bring your things." As the students all pack up and head out the door, the sound begins to move closer to me. I lean into this kid's backpack and sure enough there it is. I said, "Dude, that's coming from your bag," and he immediately got red-faced. It was an engineering project he was on for school. LOL. Love an easy fix. Update: teacher came in EOD to apologize for wasting my time. I made sure he knew this was the funniest part of my week thus far. Not a waste of time at all.